Hi, Soul Family. Welcome to another episode of Soul Traveler 77. I'm your host, Corey Brandon, and today we're going to get into something pretty serious. But before we go into that, I want to talk to you about last night's experience. So, I've been pretty transparent about my struggles as far as being able to achieve the out of body state. Um, but I have been having glimpses here and there. So I've had a bunch of lucid dreams and I'm learning a lot from them. So last night it was kind of a lucid dream type of experience. But I was attempting to go into sleep paralysis through protocol 1 of the ADA method. So I start off putting myself in sleep paralysis through protocol 1. So I'm lying there. I got my binaural beats on. I'm totally lying still and trying to keep as still as possible. And I feel myself slipping out of consciousness, meaning falling asleep. But I can feel it. So it's not like I just boom, I'm asleep. Now, here's where it gets weird. It's like my consciousness split into two places at one time. And I'm going to explain that. So basically, as I'm lying there, I start having this dream, but I'm very aware that my body is still lying in my bed. I'm very aware of this. I actually can feel myself lying in the bed, but I also feel myself in this dream. So in the dream, I'm driving like a pickup truck, and I literally can feel the steering wheel. I can see out of the pickup truck. I'm driving down the street in this pickup truck. And as I'm starting to fall asleep in my body, I am starting to fall asleep at the wheel of this pickup truck. So I literally, as I'm driving, I can feel myself starting to fall asleep like this. And the next thing I know is the truck is kind of veering off the road. And the next thing I know, I'm asleep. So I'm asleep in my body. Now, again, I'm asleep in my body as this is happening in the dream. When I wake up in the dream, I'm standing there next to my wife and we're talking. So we're just having a conversation. She asked me, hey, where are you going? And I say to her, I'm going to see a concert with some friends. So immediately as I say that, a big building is we both kind of look well, I'm looking to my left, she's looking to her right. And we both look in this big building, and it's a big glass window. And I see these coworkers that I haven't spoken to in years, like with microphones, and they're singing songs as though they're like in church or something. It was a weird scene. And then I was literally about to start looking at my hands so that I could stare at them and command 100% consciousness. And then I woke up. It was the weirdest experience. Again, it's not grandiose. I told you guys any experiences I'm having, I'm going to talk about them just so you guys don't feel like the stuff that's happening to you is weird or, hey, I feel away because I'm not having an experience, but I'm having these little experiences. Lucid dreaming is very much a part of this. And if mastered, you can actually use lucid dreaming as a way for your soul to exit the body. And you don't even have to stay still for hours and hours at night. So that's one of the things that I'm starting to master. I think, and I'm starting to think my soul is taking me on this journey where I can master it that way so that I can because I've been having so many lucid dreams lately. And when I say lucid, I mean very real, very aware that I'm dreaming. So everything looks like a dream, but I'm aware that I am dreaming. Like I'm literally in the dream. The one I had previous where I lost my daughter, I literally said, oh, shoot, I'm in a dream. And I looked around and I realized I was in a dream. And in this one, I was about to go down that same road before I woke up. But I think my soul is really kind of taking me down this road to where now I'm going to start using these lucid dreams to exit the body. So I'll keep you guys posted on that as I start getting better at it, as I start developing that skill in order to do that. So today's video is going to be about navigating realm 1, good versus evil, and your physical body. See, after my first OBE, my perception changed about this realm 1 experience that I'm having. Actually, it was done in almost a negative way, and I talked about that on other videos. But after having a few and having received downloads about what I've experienced, I now look at this realm 1 experience in a totally different light. And that began the day I asked myself one question. And that question was, is it strange that I see the simplicity in this realm 1 experience? You see, suddenly things that used to look chaotic, stressful, or even overwhelming begin to look, well, simple. See, this is realm 1, the lowest level of the construct, the lowest frequency of the construct. Some people call it a classroom, a dream, or even a simulation. However you want to say it, again, it is an experience. And in this video, I want to take you through a deeper realization that actually changed everything about how I view this realm 1 experience. From politics to purpose, from evil to embodiment. So let's begin. First thing first, realm 1 is a template, not a prison. I've said that in many videos, and I want to reiterate that now. When you only identify with the body, this realm 1 experience feels heavy but real. But the more time you spend in higher states through things like OBE, lucid dreaming, or even meditation, you begin to see realm 1 as a structure, and this structure follows certain patterns. Contrary to what science would have you believe, this experience isn't random. It is actually created. Realm 1 itself is a created space just for your soul to come here to have the experience. That doesn't mean that it's fake. And from the 5 senses perspective, it's definitely very real. It just means that it's been designed, and that design came with a purpose. I often like to think of this experience as a video game. You enter it to explore, evolve, even learn. At some points, you forget you're even playing the game at all until you begin to remember. And when you're done playing that video game, that's it. It's over. You're not sitting around thinking about what your character in the video game is doing while you're in your real life eating your dinner. So no, this reality isn't a prison. It's a portal. Actually, it's a portal you chose to enter. Now remember that word chose, because that's going to be very important as we have this discussion. Number 1, this realm is a template, not a prison. Number 2, there is an embedded role of contrast and also an illusion of evil. One of the first things I noticed when I was outside of my body and on the other side was how different it felt. There was no confusion, no fear, no need to define things as good or evil. Everything was just vibrating at its own frequency. And in that space, I understood something deeply. Contrast, aka duality, is how Source comes to know itself. Think about it. How would you ever know peace if you've never experienced chaos? How would you value light if you've never walked through the darkness? How would you recognize love if you've never felt hate? This realm 1 experience was built on a law of polarity. Opposites, not as enemies, but as instruments. Not as punishments, but really as tools for soul growth. And so this realm 1 experience introduces contrast. Not as a torment or torture, but to give us the tools to remember who we really are. We have been taught since birth through the programming that evil is something external. Demons, monsters, villains, forces trying to ruin everything. But after seeing beyond the veil, it became clear. Evil isn't some eternal enemy of God. It's not some being with horns, some force that is outside of creation. Evil isn't an entity at all. Evil is actually just a frequency, a distortion of divine energy that operates outside of love. It's simply what happens when a soul forgets that it is God and starts to move further and further away outside of love. it becomes distorted. It moves outside of the harmony with love. It operates from fear, control, manipulation, because it's starving for reconnection with love. Remember when I said we would come back to that word chose? Well, here's the deeper truth. Your soul came here on purpose, meaning it chose to come here knowing that it would face contrast, knowing that it would face loss, heartbreak, betrayal, fear, not as a punishment, but as an experience. And some souls didn't just choose to come experience it, but they also came to be that very thing for other souls to experience. See, contrast gives your soul the opportunity to choose and to experience both sides of the contrast. It gives you real-time test of your alignment. Can you still hold love in the middle of chaos? Can you still feel compassion when faced with cruelty? Can you still remember who you are, even when nothing around you is reflecting that? This is what contrast offers. Not confusion. Actually, it offers clarity. The number 3 thing that I realized is that I need to stop fighting evil and start anchoring love. See, here's the twist. Once you gain that clarity, evil loses its grip on you. But when you choose to fight evil with hate, you're actually reinforcing it. Now, this is not to say that when something presents itself in your daily life as evil, you shouldn't fight back, or that you should allow evil things to go on in your personal space without addressing it. What it means is your focus shouldn't be on the evil. We all know there's evil in this world. We all know there is this contrast. We all agreed to participate in the contrast. So knowing that, why would you focus on it? Why would you focus on the things that aren't going to bring you any type of love into your life? You see, I don't worry about all of the evil that's going on in the world. Unless that evil comes to my front door and affects me and my family, or anything within my sphere of influence, it's not of my concern. It's nothing for me to focus on. So what I've learned to do instead is anchor myself and stay grounded in love. Love as much as I can. Love as well as I can. Love everyone around me, despite whether they love me or not. Focus on the things that I do want to see. Focus on the things that the outcomes I want to see happen, and the outcomes that I can actually affect in a positive way. I stop matching these low vibrations. I hold my frequency and emotional balance no matter what roles other souls are playing. I don't ignore injustice. I just don't fuel it with fear. I bring truth and love into it. And that disrupts the darkness without feeling the need to destroy it. This, in essence, has changed my worldviews. So what happens when you view the world through this lens? 1, you stop taking the news personally. Things are happening. Things that are always meant to happen. Things that souls agreed to participate in on both sides. I stop buying into narratives designed to divide. I don't think about black and white and race and color and religion and things like that. We have all been different ages, different genders, different races throughout the time that we've been in this construct. We've played different roles since we've been here. I stopped worshiping ideologies that have no soul behind them. In fact, I stopped worshiping anything at all. You see, you shouldn't be worshiping anything outside of yourself. Instead, I've started using discernment and start feeling the frequency of things. I ask myself things like, what energy is this running on? Is this awakening me or is it distracting me? Is my soul even interested in this battle? Or am I just reacting off some old programming? This changes how you even participate in these systems of control, how you relate, how you speak, even how you stand, because you're no longer operating from fear. You're operating from your soul. The 4th thing that happened after my awakening is I started releasing the judgment of others. One of the quietest but most powerful shifts that I made after having OBEs and experiencing life outside of my body was I just stopped judging people. Not because I became better, not because I lost the ability to discern, but because I finally saw what was really going on in this experience. You see, some people came here to explore love. Others came here to experience power, ego, fear, loss. Some even came here to be the one who hurts others. I know, hard to believe. I understand why you would be apprehensive about that statement, but it's true. Not out of evil, but to play a catalytic role, to trigger growth in those around them, to participate in another soul's experience of evil, fear, and loss. And the most important thing to understand is that all of it was agreed to by all of the souls involved. The ones that hurt, the ones that receive hurt, the ones that love, the ones that receive love. A question I get often is, why would someone come here to be a part of that? Why would they want to be the antagonist in someone else's experience? Well, it goes back to what we were speaking to before. Source needs to experience that which it is not. Your soul needs to experience that which it is not. See, on the other side, it can't be harmed or be the antagonist in someone else's story, because every soul is autonomous. Every soul has the same power as every other soul. Every soul knows what every other soul knows. No soul can be harmed unless that soul believes it to be so. And think about it. If a soul knows this, why would they ever believe another soul can harm them? Why would that even be a thought in their mind? So you have to come here to experience even the antagonist part of another soul's story, because that will give source its experience. And when you start to see every person around you as simply a soul playing their part in the construct, the judgment starts to fade. You stop needing to fix everyone in every situation. You stop the need to call out everyone who doesn't believe or know the things that you know. You understand that some souls choose to come here to experience darkness as part of their soul's awakening. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that you condone harm. It just means you recognize the design of the duality of Realm 1. Everyone is playing their part in a symphony of awakening. Even the villains are creating tension simply so that truth can rise. This creates a new type of passion. Not one that's rooted in pity, but one that's rooted in understanding. Compassion doesn't mean that you let people walk all over you. It just means that you understand that everyone is walking their own path, even when it looks messy, even when it looks evil, even when it's unconscious. See, I learned to stop trying to wake people up before their time. Nobody could wake me up before it was my time. If you would have came to me and talked to me about the very things that I'm talking to you about now, 10 years ago, I probably would have cursed you out and ignored you or walked away from you. I wasn't ready to be awakened. I also stopped trying to control people's soul lessons. I'll give my advice. I'll tell people what I think about things, or maybe what I feel about things, or things that I've experienced and how it can help them. But ultimately, this soul has to walk its own path and learn its own lessons in love and in darkness. So instead, I love them from wherever they are or wherever I am. I give people grace while I hold my center, and hopefully people will give me grace. And when they're ready, they will awaken and they will rise. A key thing is to remember you've been all of these things too. You've been asleep before. You've hurt others, judged others, lived in fear, and even acted out of ego. And you weren't evil. You were just in that part of your journey where that was the experience you were having. So you don't have to carry guilt. You also don't have to carry judgment. You just carry understanding, because now you're not resisting what is. You're holding it with awareness and letting the soul do what the mind can't always comprehend. You see, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The real purpose of awakening through the OBE state isn't to be escaping from realm 1. It isn't just about leaving your body and seeing a bunch of cool stuff. It's also about seeing things clearly while you're still in realm one, while you're still in your body and having to live out this realm one experience. It's about living in this world, but no longer being ruled by the entrapments of it. Esoterically, this is what Paul was saying in Romans 12:2, when he said, "And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." The soul doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be present, to stay aware, to stay connected, to choose love even when fear is louder. It's staying emotionally balanced while you're walking out the experience that you chose for yourself here in realm one. And a big part of that is trusting your soul in the moment. Another one of my biggest shifts is I stopped looking for constant answers, especially externally. Everything I want to know is within me, and everything I want to see is on the other side, in the out-of-body state. Why? Because everything is you, and you are everything. Ye are gods. I'm not sure people understand the weight of that statement. Some people may look at it as egotistical. It's not. It's simply the truth. Every soul is its own God's head. Every soul can do everything that you think of God being able to do. In soul form, you can do the same things. In soul form, you're omnipresent. In soul form, you're omniscient. In soul form, you have no limitations. In soul form, you can manifest things instantly, simply by thinking about them and matching the frequency. So in essence, you start trusting that your soul already has the answers. You let go of needing a plan. You let go of needing control of how this whole experience is going to play out. You simply just follow the breadcrumbs and stay emotionally balanced while you're doing it. You're paying attention for that nudge instead of waiting for some lightning bolt of consciousness to hit you. And when you feel doubt creeping in, you repeat this to yourself. I am the soul. My body is the lens. My mission is to see clearly, not to cling. So yes, it's okay to see the simplicity of this construct and the realm one experience. It means your soul is waking up. You're putting less importance on things that won't matter once you transition to the other side. This realm, as tough as it is, was never meant to be your prison. It's actually your proving ground. Not to prove your worth, because you've always had that, but to prove your ascension. If this video has helped you, please like, share, and subscribe, and peace and blessings.